Welcome, everybody, to this episode of The Monthly Blend, a monthly video podcast brought to you by Next, powered by Millin and Connectpreneur. I'm Tien, Wong. I'm the founder and host of the Connectpreneur community. We are a global community of over 30,000 investors, founders, and business leaders. I'm also the CEO of Opus 8, and we help companies and fund managers raise money through our network of over 4,000 accredited private investors, angels, and family offices throughout the U.S. Along with my co-host, Anthony Millin, who's the founder and chair of Next, powered by Millin, we are pleased to bring you this monthly video podcast, which covers trends, information, and fascinating interviews with game changers and newsmakers here in the Baltimore, Washington Metroplex. Anthony and I started this podcast almost 3.5 years ago as a way to increase awareness of cool, innovative happenings in our region, to break down silos, and to serve as a mechanism to do our part to help bring the region together and to help foster innovation and entrepreneurship here. And today we're diving into the future of the state of Maryland's economic development and innovation strategy with John Gilstrap, who is the new Assistant Secretary of the newly formed Division of Innovation and Growth at the Maryland Department of Commerce. And we'll explore how his organization is set to boost entrepreneurship, attract investment, and to position Maryland as a hub for AI and other emerging technologies. And we'll discuss some key opportunities for startups, investors, and policymakers to collaborate and drive regional economic growth. John, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here today. I'm especially grateful to be here to be with you guys because both of you have been such key players in building the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Maryland over these past few years, and you've become indispensable, in my opinion, to what's going on here in Maryland. So it's good to be here, good to be with you.
That's very kind of you. And now for the first segment, I'd like to turn things over to my co-host, Anthony Millin, who is a serial entrepreneur. He's a venture capitalist, and he's also one of the nation's leading startup attorneys. Anthony is the founder and chair of Next, powered by Millin. And Next is disrupting the way that legal services are being delivered with a unique fixed price structure that allows for expert legal advice. And over the last 3 years, Next has been recognized nationally by winning several awards, including Legal Week's Startup Emerging Law Firm of the Year and Legal Week's Best Law Firm for Enabling Startup Success, as well as being a finalist for the American Lawyer's Most Innovative Law Firm Award. Anthony, congratulations and take it away.
Great. Thank you, Tien. And John, thank you so much for joining us today. We've always are very excited with everything that's going on, Tien and I, in Maryland, and are really excited to hear about developments and vision and what you see for companies and particularly startup companies in the Maryland region. First place I'd like to start a little bit is just to understand and to let viewers understand how Department of Commerce is structured in terms of the different divisions, and maybe before we take a deep dive into the Division of Innovation and Growth, to just provide kind of a higher level overview of some of the other two divisions and their goals.
Thank you, Anthony. Have you left any awards off the table? I mean, you guys seem to be killing it over there. So my name is John Gilstrap. I'm Assistant Secretary here at the Department of Commerce and Innovation and Growth. I joined the agency in November of last year. And I've been blessed to have a pretty diverse career working in the private sector and also the public sector. I worked previously for the Empire State Development Agency at New York State doing economic development there. And a lot of what I've learned there has been very transferable to here in Maryland. And I've also worked in the private sector and investment banking at JP Morgan and Time Warner and Bank of New York. So I feel like I'm bringing all that experience to what's happening here in Maryland, which I think is an exciting time in spite of all what's going on just, an hour south of us here in Baltimore. It's an exciting time to be in Maryland. We have I think a really exciting and interesting and smart governor who's leading us here at the state. That's one of the reasons that I was attracted to coming to Maryland, because I've watched Governor Wes Moore in the past in his previous role in Robin Hood. And he just seemed to be a person just full of great ideas and energy. And I see him bringing that here to Maryland. So if you're looking to come here and set up a business, I think this is the best place to be currently.
In terms of the Division of Business Attraction and Special Projects, and now the new Governor's Office of Business Advancement, what are some of the goals and objectives of those platforms?
Sure. So within the Department of Commerce, we've done some restructuring in the last 6 months or so, and we've set up two major divisions. One is innovation and growth, where I sit, and then there's another division, business development and special projects. And then we have a third leg of the department, which is our operational units, which also includes tourism, the film and arts division, marketing and finance, and all those other important pieces. But here in innovation and growth, our charge really is to help develop ecosystems that can foster growth in Maryland. So we're looking to bring in partners from out of state across many industries and pairing them with some of the great higher educational facilities, institutions we have here in Maryland, and also mix in some of the private equity sector to create environments where we can stimulate research and also spark ideas for young people to spin up a new business and launch it here and stay in Maryland. So I feel that's a good portion of what innovation and growth is doing. It's building these strategic partnerships and creating these ecosystems. And then we work alongside of our business development and special projects group to sort of close on some of those deals. They work primarily with a lot of our incentive programs, tax and grant incentive programs to help grease the wheels, if you will, for project development. And they also work closely with our real estate partners to find shovel-ready sites if you're looking for new construction, if you're looking for office space. So it's a 1-2 punch in a lot of ways. Innovation growth sort of lines them up, and our business development team sort of knocks it down.
And for companies that, in addition to helping companies that are already here continue to grow, I'd like to go a little bit more detail, particularly where we have focused a lot on the podcast is the earlier stage startup companies, both companies that are being started here, as well as companies that we're seeing more and more companies who are moving to the US to really build out in the US markets and access US capital and customers and partners. What message would you have for companies that are looking to come either from other states or to come from overseas to make their home base Maryland?
That's a good question. I mean, that's something we talk about all the time. I think there's a number of unique positive attributes that Maryland has. Number one, where it's geographically situated, right in the middle of the Eastern Seaboard, with easy access to some of the other major cities, New York, Boston, the Carolinas, Philadelphia, DC, and Virginia, of course. So you're in a good geographic position. I think also if you're looking for talent to work with or to partner with, we have PhDs coming out of the ground here in Maryland. It's one of the most educated states, led by University of Maryland and Johns Hopkins and Morgan State, and a great community college system. So, the access to the talent pool is second to none. And also, we're pretty much right next to all of the research institutions that the federal government has to offer. NIH, NOAA, NASA, 14 or so federal military institutions, Fort Meade, Aberdeen Proving Ground. So there's quite a lot here to glom onto, from talent to education to geographic location, and also potential customers. So Maryland is a good place to be, I believe.
We see that as well, and also the people of Maryland and the support that the community, and particularly the support that the startup community provides to each other, is another one of those intangible special sources that really makes this such a unique place to grow and build a business. The last thing I just wanted to touch on, again, for companies that are coming from out of state, in terms of soft landing program, a way to really provide a place for companies to land and de-risk. Can you talk a little bit about some of the soft landing?
we have a great international program called Global Gateway, which is in our division of innovation and growth. It's a program that's managed by our Office of International Investment and Trade, where we extend an outreach to companies that are looking to locate to the United States, and particularly in Maryland. So we bring them here. They get a stipend to set up shop and operations, and we also provide facilities for them to be housed. We help with marketing strategy. If there's any IP or technology to be patented or locked down, we provide those services as well. And we also help with access to customers and clients here in the state, like as I mentioned before. So that's one of our programs here that we're really, really proud of. And I think that's going to continue for the next couple of years. And then there's just a myriad of incubators and accelerators throughout, as you guys know, Connectpreneur, throughout the state that are here to support that nascent business as well. So we're focused on building that ecosystem from the ground up.
There really are amazing accelerators and incubators around the state. So we really thank you and the state for all of the support that you give to this early stage ecosystem. So now I'm going to hand it over to Tien, and he will pick up from here.
Yeah, no, thanks. And it's continuing on the thread we just had there. One asset we have here in Maryland, which I do believe is a unique and competitive advantage, is Tedco, right? They're a prolific investor, very well-run group, and currently pretty well financed. So my first question has to do with attracting investment and capital. So how would you characterize the state of investment capital in Maryland right now, John? And are there any new incentives or programs that you have coming down the pike or that you want to highlight that would attract more investors in VC and growth stage funding into Maryland-based startups? Because we all know that capital drives the engine.
I was surprised, when I first came and did some research here, that Maryland actually is one of the top 10 states in attracting investment capital per capita in the United States. But to be honest, we can always do better. More money is better. And that's also something that we're focused here on innovation and growth is addressing the need for more private capital in the marketplace here across different sectors, from the tech sector to manufacturing to fintech and other regions. So one of the things that I'm doing is reaching out to my network of private equity and hedge fund folks to just talk about Maryland, because one of the things we also have to do here is market better, right? Pound our chest a little bit more and talk about all the assets that we have here and all the good things that are going on in Maryland. So my team and I, we're spending time courting a lot of out-of-state private capital money to come into the state to set up shop. We're also looking to tap sovereign wealth funds and family offices, which is another rich pool of capital, which probably heretofore hasn't really been focused on. And then we're also looking to new geographies for foreign direct investment. The Gulf states is one rich area, and they're really keen on life sciences and the biotech and the digital tech sector, which we're building here, and we already have some rich assets here. And also South Asia is another capital source that we are courting. I'm actually heading out to Australia next week for an aerotech exhibition and trade mission, and we're meeting there with some financial services firms and other investors to talk about setting up shop in the rich opportunities here in Maryland. So we're doing a sort of an outreach effort, marketing effort to bring more capital into the state.
Yeah, no, you guys, Commerce is doing a great job with that. I know we all have to pound our chests more for sure. That's sort of one of the things we're not as good as our friends out in California doing, but I'm seeing you guys at JP Morgan in San Francisco at the bio conferences, the international strategy that you just talked about. It's pretty great. And, along the lines of money, you also need talent, right? So in terms of talent and workforce development, how are we marketing ourselves to the outside world, to recent graduates, for example? Are there any specific initiatives that Commerce is doing any collabs with universities or community colleges to help attract and retain top tier talent?
Absolutely. And, commerce is kind of accountable, I would say, for a lot of growth, as far as jobs and companies goes, but we're not the only ones responsible for it, right? So there are a lot of sister agencies or partners that we work with to help us drive that effort. So the Governor's Office of Innovation is spearheading a multi-agency wide approach to developing our workforce here to meet the future needs of the state and of our strategic mission around these lighthouse sectors, quantum, AI, computational sciences and biology, in the aerospace sector, position, navigation, timing. We feel those are some of the lighthouse sectors that are going to drive growth here in Maryland, and not just for the sake of having more AI companies here, which we are desperately trying to do and actively focusing on it. But we want that technology here so it could support our core industries, right? So agriculture becomes precision ag, and manufacturing becomes advanced manufacturing. So that's how we're looking to transform a lot of these industries. So this special task force of multi-agencies is looking to focus on three things. One is ensure that every young person has a clear path to a high wage career here. Secondly, remove barriers to employment and economic mobility, and we're studying ways to do that. And thirdly, we're looking to find ways to close that gap in some of these key industries. So we're pulling all levers. We're working closely with the Department of Education, and that's the K through 12 department as well, because you got to start early and impress upon young people the opportunities and help them see what the possibilities are. There's an old line that says you can't be what you can't see. So we're really reaching down deep into the school systems, all the way up to higher ed, and then also reskilling and upskilling with folks who are out of the college system, who are in the workforce, to get them ready to meet the challenges of the next decade, if you will.
Fantastic. I mean, that's really exciting. I love how you're focusing on the lighthouse industries, because those are kind of like the cool, sexy things that younger people may want to build a career around, especially with AI coming and people wanting to guarantee themselves some kind of job security in the future, right? So,
right. Yeah. So you can start a family and build a house and get all the trappings that one might want throughout their life.
Absolutely. Last question I got is about engagement with commerce. How do founders, investors, innovators in our community and in our state, are there any resources they should be aware of? Are there any upcoming programs, initiatives, events, funding opportunities that they can be tapping into? And then how would they, if they want to get involved, how do they contact you or your deputies?
You can talk to our chat bot. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I think we're working on that as well, just to have another extension out into the marketplace. Well, we publish a regular newsletter, which you can find on our website, which you can find, that's very rich in what's telling about what's going on here within commerce, but all the events and opportunities going on around the state. So you should look out for that. We're also on LinkedIn. And we're also on Instagram and Facebook, some of the other traditional social media sites. So that's one way to keep track of what we're doing. There's also a hotline, which you can find that on the website too, which you can just ping and someone will get back to you. We have a new office. It's called GOBA. It's an Office of Government Outreach, where we're working with a lot of businesses to help steer around a lot of regulatory and permitting issues that may be a roadblock to getting your store open or your construction site launched, which we've historically identified that as an impediment to business growth. So you can find that unit on our website too, and they're very hands-on and they're very prevalent in all 23 counties here. So there's lots of ways to reach out to us, and if you're any of our events, we always have tables set up, and lots of our marketing team and our regional managers are always open, and from what I can see, just very helpful in getting stuff going. We also have a division of MWBE division, minority and women-owned business enterprises, which is focused on that community, and they do a lot of outreach and also provide a lot of information to that group. On our website, there's some Maryland funding incentives. It's like a multi-page site, but it's very, very organized and set up by the type of incentive you're looking for, the type of grant you need, the type of business you're running. And you can go there and find out what the incentives are or the funding or tax credits that's available to your business. And that'll put you in touch with the right group there, and you're off and running. I mean, anything from a cannabis business to investment tax credit for a biotech startup, which is affectionately called Bitsy. You know, if you're in enterprise zones, you also have some favorable tax credits that can help your business accelerate. So there are lots of different touch points for Department of Commerce, and the website is a good starting point.
It's amazing the breadth of involvement that you guys have built at the state level with commerce, really. And I wish you all the best with the new role. And we're happy to have you here in Maryland, and great to see you. And I'll turn things over to Anthony, who may have some parting words. Thank you so much, John.
Yeah, no problem, Mark. Thank you.
So John, we just, again, like Tien said, want to thank you so much for joining us today. We are very excited that you're here and helping to lead the Division of Innovation and Growth, a part of commerce in the state that's really important to so many of the entrepreneurs who are building and growing companies in Maryland. And we appreciate everything the state is doing, and also all the messaging that you're doing, both not only in Maryland, but sharing with other communities around the country, and like your trip to Australia overseas with the amazing things that Maryland has to offer to entrepreneurs looking to create and bring new businesses into the world.
And Anthony, on that trip, I'm just not going there to, cuddle with koalas. We're taking 10 businesses here from Maryland in our defense tech and our aerospace tech community to meet with potential business partners in Australia who want to enter into the United States marketplace. So, we're taking delegations of Maryland companies all the time, all over, to meet some new business opportunities. So,
yeah, that's
I'm excited about that.
Thank you. Well, safe travels, and thanks again for being on the show.
Appreciate it. Anytime. Thank you.